we must also understand why, out of all the 5 brothers, did Bhagwan Sri Krishna pick Arjuna as his disciple. If you look at Yudhisthira, Yudhisthira was who? The son of Dharmaraj. When Yudhisthira drove his chariot, it floated about 4 inches off the ground. It never touched the ground. Because he never told a lie. The minute Yudhisthira told the first lie, what happened? His chariot fell straight to the ground. And when did that happen? At the death of Aswatthama, the elephant. So Yudhisthira was already learned it. He had exceeded Tamas, Rajas and Sattva gunas, the 3 gunas. He was already situated in knowledge. So why do we give him knowledge? Bhagavan said, no, he's not. He is fine. Bhim? Who was Bhim? The other brother. He didn't pick Bhim. Why? Because if you look at the human body, Bhagavan says when you're ready to take this knowledge, you must be like a human being. Where was Yudhisthira? He was already here, the Vishuddha Chakra, at the Ajnana Chakra. And Bhim was still residing in the lower chakras. What did Bhim do the minute he killed Dusasan? He drank the blood of Dusasan. So what was he like? He was acting like a what? An animal. He wasn't quite ready for this knowledge yet. But look at Arjuna. What did Arjuna do? When he sat in the chariot after chapter 1, and he spoke to Bhagavan, and he looked at all the people he had to fight. What did he do? The Gandiv, his most powerful bow, dropped from his shoulders. And what did he do? He dropped to his knees. And he supplicated himself. He says, hey Bhagavan, in chapter 2 verse 7 he says, teach me. For us to attain the knowledge of the soul, as I said yesterday, we must first give up our arrogance, our pride, our lust, our anger, our greed for everything, and become humble and submit ourselves to Bhagavan. And once we do that, what did Bhagavan do? He begins to speak. He begins to teach us, as in the barber shop. Unless you don't go to the barber, you won't get a haircut. So Arjuna he submitted himself to the Lord. And in chapter 2, verse 19 and 20, he says, the soul cannot be killed. It cannot be destroyed. What does he mean by that? Well, technically we have 3 bodies, according to the Bhagavad Gita. And these 3 bodies are broken up into the physical body that you see, the Jivatma, and the Paramatma. Now let me explain that. Within this body, we have what's these 5 elements that make up this body that we see, this physical body. It's made up of 5 elements: Prithvi, Jal, Akash, Agni, and Vayu. And these 5 elements are held together by what we call the creative energy of Bhagavan. And that creative energy is called the Yog Maya of Bhagavan, which means, Yoga means this creative energy, and Maya means illusion. That is what we also know as Mother Nature or Prakriti in Sanskrit, and some of us call it Devi Durga. As you all know, we just celebrated the Navrat. This is a celebration of the Shakti, the 8 Shaktis of Mata, the 9 Shaktis of Durga Devi. Well, this energy holds this universe together. This is one part of Bhagavan, the female aspect of the Lord, the creative aspect. That created the universe. That is the body as well. That holds together the energy. Then, so that's the chariot from yesterday, from what we talked about. And inside the chariot is a passenger. And that passenger is the Jivatma. And the Jivatma is riding in this chariot, this body. That is our soul, which is made up of the mind and the ego and intelligence. Now that is affected. The ego and intelligence is affected by something we call the chitta or our swadharma. What's our swadharma? You know, as I told you all yesterday, before the soul changes body, it goes through many, many different lifetimes before it takes human birth. And that is called the Ava Gavarnti Chakra we talked about last night. As our MC promptly reminded me last night, Pandit, I hope you'll delve into the Ava Gavarnti Chakra a little bit more Friday night. So here we go. The Ava Gavarnti Chakra is a cycle of birth and death. And finally, when we get to the human body, the human form, we're able to do several things. One of them is, as an animal, what do we do? Most animals, we say we eat, they sleep, they protect their territory, and they procreate. What does most of us humans do? We get up in the morning, we brush our teeth, we put on our clothes, we get in our car, we drive to work like I say in Ghana, work like donkeys. We come back home, we sit down, we veg out in front of the TV, we eat dinner, we might argue with the children or the wife or the husband, we go to sleep, right? We procreate, we have more children, and the next morning we go back to work again. So we eat, we sleep, we work, we defend our territory, and we accumulate more possession, thinking that we're going to have security, safety, peace, and happiness from working and taking in all the money. But in the Ramayana it says that you can do all that, but what happens? You don't achieve anything by it. You just hold it, and when you die, what happened? Alexander the Great says, when I die, he called his advisor, I have an advice for you. When I die, cut a hole in my coffin and stick my hands outside. So the advisor says, Emperor, why you want to do that? He says, so the world can see that I came into this world empty-handed, and when I'm leaving, I'm going empty-handed. I am taking nothing with me. And in the Ramayana, it says there's only one way we can get out of this Avagavan ki chak. Why? Because we have to stop being animals and we have to become human. That's why the Chaupai in the Ramayana says, Bade bhagya manusatanu pava. Bade bhagya manusatanu pava. Sudadudala basada gantana gava. Sudadudala basada gantana gava. Jaya Rama Siya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Jaya Ram Siya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Sadhan dhanam muksha kadvara. Sadhan dhanam muksha kadvara. Jaya Ram Siya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Jaya Ram Siya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Ram Siya Jaya 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 Rama. In the Sri Ramcharitamanas, Bhagavan Sri Ram is telling us, it says it's only through the human birth can we go to the Dwar of Bhagavan. It is only through the human birth can we achieve moksha, Shakaradwara. Can we go to the heaven, the doorway of heaven? Why? Because in the human body, in the human birth, we have two abilities.